In 2009, I guess it was springtime, I went to the doctor for a lump in my testicle, and the doctor said, "You know what? This is not just a lump. I really think this is testicular cancer." I went and got a second opinion. The second opinion took about 30 seconds. They said, "Yes, this is testicular cancer, and it's got to come out tomorrow." In less than 24 hours, my mom flew up. My friends were notified. I got somebody to take care of me over the weekend. I was under the knife. Turns out it's an outpatient surgery, and I came out, more or less fine, apart from the missing testicle. However, when I was lying there in bed that night, that first night, I was lying there and just looking up at the darkness and watching it move around. And it swirled and it formed the body of a big black bird that fluttered down and sat on my chest. And it hopped up and it started to just say things into my ear. And it said, "Listen, man, from now on, things are going to be different. People aren't going to understand you the way that they used to anymore. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel isolated. People aren't going to, they're going to want to connect and they're not going to know how. It's going to be this way for the rest of your life. You'll never be able to connect, but you'll at least get used to feeling lonely. So take some comfort in that." And it was true. It was true because what I discovered was that when I woke up the next day, I'd go around in the world, or, not the next day, but within a couple weeks, I'd go around in the world. My body had healed up. But when people hear things like "you've had cancer," they hear the word cancer, all the baggage that's up in their head just rattles around and falls right out of their mouths. And they just come up and say the stupidest things to you. They say stuff like, "Oh, have you tried yoga? What about it's really good for you spiritually and it can prevent all sorts of cancers." Or "Have you tried wheatgrass juice? That stuff's like liquid sunshine." And I mean, no, I have not tried yoga because I don't like yoga. I don't like yoga people. I'm not going to go into a warrior pose and then just drop and another one's going to just pop right out again. I'm not going to dunk it in a glass of wheatgrass juice and grow a testicle back. It's gone. It already happened. Whenever people say things like that to cancer patients or anybody, like, "Oh, their favorite thing that is kind of like not that fun to participate in can cure cancer," what they really mean is it's sort of your fault for not doing their favorite thing in the first place, and that's why you got cancer. It's a normal human thing to want to try to help, but I found that to be very, very unhelpful. And at night, I would try to tell my girlfriend about this, and she's a cancer survivor too, but she had a different kind. So she had Hodgkin's lymphoma, didn't lose any body parts. I had testicular cancer. I didn't go through radiation chemo. She did. So our suffering is the same size, but shaped really differently. And I'd try to talk to her, and she'd kind of get it, but kind of not, and then roll over and go to sleep. And then at night, the bird would just come back down again and sit on my shoulder and say, "See?" And I'd say, "Yeah, no, I see now. I get it. This really sucks." I felt like a robot that had been programmed to think it was me, or like a photocopy of a photocopy. I was going around doing all the things I used to enjoy, but I didn't take any pleasure from them. I just did them out of habit or some kind of reflex. And everybody said, "Oh, you look so strong and healthy. You must be fine now." And I was like, "Well, I'm fine, except I wish I was dead." I'd lie there at night after the bird flew away and look up at the darkness, and I would just think, well, if this is it, if this is all there is, just total black forever, I could I could kill myself. I could take care of that. Then I wouldn't have to hear anything stupid anymore. I wouldn't have to try to connect with people that I can't connect with. I could just be by myself or just not be at all, and it would be fine. That would be it. Well, that's not. Well, it's not happiness talking. I'll tell you that much. So then one day, the bird would just come back every night. Things in the ear, awful, awful things in the ear that were kind of true. And then one day, I was in to get a CT scan, and you have to drink this liquid that tastes awful. It tastes like antifreeze and robot piss mixed together, and it marinates your tissues. And I'm just sitting so that the thing can get a good picture. And I'm sitting there drinking my drink, and then this couple comes in, and just by the way that they walk, you can tell they're awful people. The guy has a just those gray temples. It looks like responsible for that financial crisis. And the woman was just gorgeous, and but you could tell she'd just been destroyed by cancer. She was beautiful once, but she'd just been shrunken into this tiny little bird-like person, and she's got a robe on with these fierce eyes. And she sits down, and like they sit down together, and she kind of nestles into him like to take a nap. And he shuts his eyes for a second. Then she sits up and says, "You were falling asleep again, weren't you? You always fall asleep when you come to these things." And he said, "Well, I'm falling asleep because you're falling asleep." She goes, "Well, I'm allowed to. I have cancer." And he said, "Well, I want to do the right thing, but I just feel like you attack me all the time when I come to these." And she says, "Oh, really? Did you want to do the right thing last night when you were out doing God knows what with how many women?" And he says, "Listen, my habits are my habits. I'm just here to support you now. I don't really think I should have to put up with this." And she's like, "Well, you don't, because we're done. Goodbye. Get out of here." Breaks up with him in the cancer ward. Stomps off and slams a door shut, and it's like the most dramatic breakup I've ever seen. It's intense. And he's just sitting there dumbfounded. And the exit line is totally spoiled by a nurse just pushing her out the door, be like, "No, no, no, honey, we're not ready for you yet, not ready for you yet." And she just sits there across from him, and they look at each other, just breathing like that, hating each other, with their breath. And then I felt amazing. I can't tell you how amazing this made me feel, because I just had a little touch of cancer. All right, I'm short a testicle, but I'm gonna be okay. I'm actually quite used to being depressed. This depression will eventually pass. What they got is so much worse. They can't even appreciate their life or like one another in front of each other. Nothing. That is something that will that kills you long before you are dead. You're just walking around a zombie corpse. And I went outside. I went outside to call my girlfriend, the same woman I will have you know that I've been complaining to all summer about feeling so lonely and isolated with. And I call her up and I say, "Baby, you're not going to believe the breakup I just saw in this cancer ward." And she says, "Oh, I just might. You see some crazy stuff in there. Hang on, let me shut that office door. I want you to tell me all about it." And just right then, just for a couple days, that black bird flew away. So look, that bird comes for everybody, and it's going to come for you. It'll get you. It always gets you. But don't let it really, really get you. Just one day at a time, one little step at a time, and it'll go away by itself. Good luck, guys.